When you were a kid, you probably imagined what it would be like to be royalty, lounging on a golden throne with servants running around to do your bidding, or maybe twirling around in a gorgeous ball gown and tiara at a swanky party. But let's be real, being royal isn't all it's cracked up to be, especially if you're part of the British royal family. Apart from a whole load of official rules on how to act, there's a ton of strict etiquette you have to follow. If the Queen tells you to do something, well, you don't get to argue, you just do it. Here are some of the quirkiest, weirdest, and most secret rules and traditions that the British royals have to follow. Number 15. The British royal family has some pretty surprising rules when it comes to their leisure activities. And one of the more unexpected ones is the ban on playing Monopoly. This rule was revealed by Prince Andrew, Duke of York, during a public event in 2008. While he was giving a Monopoly set to a youth organization, he explained that the royal family isn't allowed to play it at home because it often gets too competitive and leads to arguments. At first, this might seem a bit over the top, but when you think about the dynamics of a Monopoly game, it makes more sense. The royals, who are real-life property owners, playing a game that's all about buying and selling could send the wrong message about wealth and competition. It doesn't exactly fit with the dignified image the royal family is meant to uphold, where grace, courtesy, and nobility are key qualities. Monopoly is a game that requires a cutthroat approach to win, and that's the opposite of the refined behavior the royals are expected to embody. Plus, the game can unintentionally mock or exaggerate upper-class privileges, which could seem insensitive given the economic struggles many people face. So while it might seem like a weird rule to outsiders, the royal family's Monopoly ban actually makes sense when you consider their need to maintain a certain image, avoid family arguments, and stay mindful of issues surrounding wealth disparity. In the unique world of the royals, this rule is perfectly fitting. Number 14. One of the more unusual rules governing the British royal family is their strict ban on signing autographs and taking selfies. So if you ever find yourself face-to-face with a royal, don't expect to walk away with a signed souvenir. The main reason behind this rule is to prevent fraud. Autographs can easily be copied or forged and could be misused, so members of the royal family are advised to avoid signing anything unofficial. The no selfie rule is based on similar concerns. Selfies can be a security risk because getting too close for a photo could create vulnerabilities, both for the royals and the public around them. Keeping everyone safe is a top priority, so this rule is in place to maintain security at all times. That said, not all royals have followed this rule to the letter. For example, Prince Charles broke the autograph ban when he signed a piece of paper for a victim of the Cornish floods in 2010. However, he kept it simple by signing Charles 2010, sticking to the spirit of the rule while still offering comfort in a tough situation. While this rule might seem like a small detail, it gives us a glimpse into the strict measures the royal family takes to protect their identities and maintain security. It's another interesting, lesser-known aspect of their world. Number 13. The British royal family's approach to gift-giving follows a strict set of protocols designed to maintain neutrality and avoid any appearance of favoritism. While members of the royal family receive countless well-wishes and presents from people all around the world, there is a specific system in place to regulate how these gifts are accepted and handled. The rule is clear. Gifts received during official engagements are considered non-personal, official gifts, meaning they belong to the crown rather than to the individual royal who received them. This applies regardless of the gift's value, size, or recipient, whether it's for an adult or a child within the royal family. The purpose behind this rule is to preserve impartiality, ensuring that no royal is seen as accepting personal gifts that could suggest favoritism or bias. Given the royal family's role as neutral public figures, it's essential that they do not appear to show preference or allegiance to any one person or cause. According to the royal family's documented gift policy, these official gifts are not to be sold or exchanged. Instead, they may be incorporated into the royal collection, which includes items of cultural, artistic, or historical value. Alternatively, they might be donated to museums or other organizations, or even passed on as gifts to others. This ensures that the gifts are handled in a manner consistent with the family's public role. Despite these formalities, it's not that the royal family doesn't appreciate the gifts they receive. In fact, Many royal members have been seen enjoying or displaying these gifts. For example, Prince George was photographed playing with a toy wombat that had been given to him during a royal tour of Australia. This shows that while the gifts may officially belong to the crown, the royals do find ways to engage with and enjoy them. This system of managing gifts reflects the broader balance the royal family must strike between personal appreciation and public duty. It's a fascinating glimpse into the complexity of their lives, where even seemingly small gestures like receiving a gift are governed by tradition, protocol, and the royal family's commitment to their public role. These strict rules highlight how different the royal lifestyle is from the average person's, with far more regulations and expectations because of the delicate positions they hold within society. Whether this is seen as a positive or a negative is up to personal perspective, but it undeniably adds another layer to the intricately woven fabric of royal traditions. Number 12. For the British royal family, fashion isn't just about what looks good. It's about following a strict dress code that covers everything from hats to hem lengths. These rules are there to make sure the royals always present themselves in a way that reflects their status. One of the key rules is that women in the royal family are expected to wear hats at formal events. This tradition dates back to a time when it was seen as inappropriate for women to show their hair in public. After midday, married women swap their hats for tiaras at formal gatherings, marking a clear distinction between day and evening wear. Modesty is also a big part of royal fashion, with dresses and skirts expected to fall just below the knee and shoulders generally covered. Queen Elizabeth II, for instance, is known for wearing bold, bright monochrome outfits to make sure she stands out in crowds during public appearances. When it comes to formal dinners, royals are expected to wear gowns, a tradition that goes back to a time when dressing up for meals was the norm, not just for royalty but for the upper classes in general. It was a way to separate formal dining from more casual occasions and keep a sense of grandeur. Men in the royal family also follow the dress code. For daytime events, you'll often see them in military uniforms or wearing a coat and knee-length trousers. For evening events, it's all about formal wear, sometimes with complete dress uniforms. While these dress rules have loosened a bit over time, they still have a big impact on the royal family's fashion choices. Every outfit the royals wear is carefully chosen to balance personal style with the demands of royal protocol. It's a reflection of their respect for tradition while still staying in tune with modern fashion trends. So, the next time you spot a royal in a carefully chosen outfit, know that it's not just about looking good. It's about honoring both their individuality and their centuries-old traditions. Number 11. For the British royal family, travel is far more complex than it might seem for most people, governed by a series of detailed protocols and rules. One of the most notable is the restriction on two heirs to the throne traveling together. This tradition, aimed at safeguarding the royal lineage, means that Prince William and his children usually do not fly on the same plane. This is done to ensure that if something were to happen during their travels, the line of succession remains intact. However, in recent years, the Queen has relaxed this rule, allowing William and his family to travel together on certain occasions. Another important protocol involves packing an all-black mourning suit when traveling. This rule ensures that if a family member passes away while they are abroad, they are properly attired for mourning. The tradition dates back to 1952 when then Princess Elizabeth was in Kenya and learned of her father, King George VI's, death. At the time, she had to wait in her plane until they brought her a black dress, highlighting the importance of always being prepared for such somber occasions. Royal tours are also highly organized affairs, often arranged by the UK government to strengthen diplomatic relations. These visits are planned with precision, adhering to the etiquette and customs of the host country, ensuring that every step is carefully executed. These tours reflect not just duty, but the poise and attention to detail that the royal family brings to their public life, maintaining their role as dignified and graceful representatives of the nation. While the complexities of royal travel may seem excessive, they are a reflection of the responsibility and the unique role the royal family holds on the global stage. Every journey, every detail, is carefully managed to maintain both tradition and the dignity of the monarchy. Number 10. In the world of the British royal family, accessories aren't just about looking stylish. They carry meaning and have specific rules attached to them. Take clutches, for example, especially when it comes to the women in the family. These aren't just fashion choices, they serve a practical purpose too. You've probably noticed royals like Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle often holding clutches at public events. It's not just a style statement, it's a clever move. The clutch gives them something to hold, which helps avoid awkward situations, like not knowing what to do with their hands or getting caught in an uncomfortable handshake. But that's not all. A clutch can also be a way for royals to quietly communicate with their staff. For instance, if a royal wants to signal that they're ready to wrap things up, they might shift their clutch from one hand to the other. It's a subtle way to send a message without saying a word. One of the most famous royal clutch users is Queen Elizabeth II, who has mastered the art of silent communication with her handbag. Depending on where she holds it, she's sending different signals. If she's holding her bag in front of her with both hands, it's a formal and reserved look. If she tucks it under her arm, it signals a more relaxed and informal stance. This silent signaling allows the Queen to express her intentions without breaking the decorum of the event. Inside the clutch, you'll find practical items like glasses, lipstick, and a compact mirror. But it's how and where the Queen places her bag that's truly telling. This thoughtful placement is a way to show authority and send signals to those who know how to read them. So, even something as simple as a handbag isn't just about being practical. It's a tool for quiet yet powerful communication. Every little gesture is carefully planned, and even the tiniest details, like where to position a clutch, are weighed for their impact. It's all part of how the royal family carries out their duties, where even the smallest accessory can have great significance. Number 9. While you might think the royal family dines on the finest delicacies like Wagyu beef and caviar, they actually have some surprising dietary rules. One of the most unexpected is their avoidance of shellfish. It might seem odd at first. After all, shellfish is considered a treat for many. But there's a practical reason behind this ban. The restriction includes crustaceans like lobster and crab, as well as mollusks such as clams, mussels, and oysters. The main concern is health. Shellfish are known to carry bacteria, viruses, and toxins that can cause foodborne illnesses if not prepared properly. Since a case of food poisoning from bad shellfish could leave a royal bedridden for days, disrupting their busy schedule and official duties, it's something they prefer to avoid. Additionally, shellfish are common allergens, and considering the many public events the royals attend where food is served, avoiding potential allergens is a sensible precaution. So this rule isn't just a quirky tradition. It's a practical measure to protect the royals from health risks. Like many royal rules, this one reflects a careful balance between tradition and modern life, between public duties and personal choices. Even when it comes to food, every decision is made with a focus on health, responsibility, and tradition. Number 8. One of the most important, yet often misunderstood, rules the British royal family follows is their complete abstention from politics. This means they don't vote in elections, and they avoid publicly sharing any political opinions. The reason behind this is tied to their role as constitutional monarchs and as symbols of unity for the nation. This rule is deeply rooted in the UK's constitution. The monarchy is meant to represent continuity, unity, and national identity, with the Queen or King acting as a neutral head of state. Meanwhile, the government, led by the Prime Minister, is responsible for making political decisions and setting policies. The royals go to great lengths to avoid giving their personal political views, whether it's about local issues or international matters. This helps them stay above the political fray and remain figures that unify the country, no matter what party is in power. Their neutrality ensures they can stand as symbols of stability, regardless of the political landscape. In today's world, where politics and social issues are often mixed together, maintaining this political neutrality is not always easy. But the royal family continues to stick to this time-honored tradition of staying impartial. For centuries, their distance from politics has been a key part of their constitutional role, showing they represent all citizens, no matter their political beliefs. This aspect of royal protocol highlights the delicate balance the family must strike between fulfilling their public duties and staying politically neutral, and it adds an interesting layer to their role in the modern world. Number 7. In the British royal family, Wearing tiaras isn't just about looking glamorous. These elaborate headpieces come with a set of specific rules and traditions. One key rule is that tiaras are reserved for married women. You won't typically see single or very young royals wearing them, which is why royal weddings are such a big deal. For many royal brides, it's the first time they wear a tiara, marking their transition into married life. On their wedding day, brides usually choose a tiara from the royal collection, making it a significant moment. Tiaras are also reserved for special occasions like banquets, state receptions, and other formal evening events where the royal family is representing not just themselves, but the entire nation. There's another rule that tiaras should never be worn before 6 p.m., aligning with the idea that they, like full evening gowns, are meant for more formal events. This tradition isn't just followed by the British royals. Many royal families around the world adhere to similar customs. The magic of tiaras lies in their intricate designs and shimmering gems, which are meant to sparkle under the soft glow of evening lights, creating a regal effect that matches the grandeur of these events. But tiaras are more than just fancy accessories. They are symbols of status and a deep connection to tradition. Many tiaras have been passed down through generations, each carrying with it a piece of royal history. Every tiara tells a story, making it not just a piece of jewelry, but a treasured part of the royal family's heritage. Number 6. Christmas is a time that holds deep meaning for the British royal family, and each year they celebrate with traditions that are rich in history and full of family spirit. One of these traditions is the annual Christmas walk to St. Mary Magdalene Church in Sandringham, a practice they've followed for decades. It's a rare chance for the public to see the royal family in a more relaxed, personal setting, and many people gather along the route to greet them. It also gives the royals a moment of privacy away from the usual grandeur of palace life. Gift giving is another beloved tradition, but the royals do it in a refreshingly down-to-earth way. Instead of lavish presents, they exchange small, often humorous gifts on Christmas Eve, a nod to their German heritage. This tradition reminds us that despite their royal status, they still enjoy the simple pleasures of the holiday season. One tradition that goes beyond the royal family and is shared with the entire nation and the Commonwealth is the Queen's Christmas message. In this annual address, the Queen reflects on the significant events of the year and shares her thoughts on Christmas and its meaning. It's a moment that brings people together, no matter their background, as they tune in to hear the Queen's words. At the heart of all these traditions is the theme of family and togetherness. Despite the royal family's high profile and public duties, Christmas for them, like for so many of us, is about cherishing time with loved ones and celebrating the magic of the season. Number 5. Curtsying is an important gesture of respect and deference within the British royal family, symbolizing the hierarchical structure of the monarchy. It is a physical display of acknowledgement toward senior members, especially the reigning monarch, and reflects the royal family's commitment to maintaining discipline and tradition. The depth of the curtsy often depends on the family member's position in the hierarchy. For example, a more junior member will perform a deeper curtsy to a senior family member, particularly when the monarch is involved. This practice is not only about showing respect, but it also serves to reinforce the structured nature of the royal family. It's a visible expression of adherence to protocol and etiquette, which are crucial elements of their public roles. The curtsy itself is an elegant maneuver, where the woman lowers her body by bending her knees and inclines her head slightly. The depth of the curtsy varies according to the occasion. During very formal events, such as state banquets or official ceremonies, a deeper curtsy is expected to reflect the solemnity of the moment. Curtsying is more than just a sign of respect. It also helps maintain the dignity and decorum of royal gatherings. It ensures that the royal family members present themselves with unity and respect for one another, reinforcing their roles as public figures representing the monarchy. In this sense, curtsying is a visible sign of the respect that the family members hold for their positions within the monarchy and for each other. Though it might seem antiquated to some, curtsying holds significant symbolic meaning. It connects the royals to centuries of tradition, a reminder of their duty to uphold the customs and values of an institution that has existed long before them. Interestingly, curtsying is not just expected among royal family members. Those granted an audience with the monarch, regardless of their social status, are also expected to curtsy. This further reinforces the symbolic weight of the gesture, emphasizing the monarch's position as the head of state, regardless of who is in their presence. Number 4. The British royal family has some pretty interesting rules when it comes to language. And it's not just about what they say, it's about when and how they say it. There's an unspoken rule that they avoid speaking foreign languages in public, and it actually goes way back in history with some practical reasons behind it. For starters, the rule helps the royals avoid any political or diplomatic missteps. Since English is a global language, it's seen as the safest bet for communication. It reduces the chance of confusing someone or unintentionally offending people because of language barriers. But it's not just about being practical. There's a deeper, symbolic side to it. By sticking to English, the royals reinforce their British identity and highlight their role as national figures. Typically, you won't hear them speaking anything other than English in public. The exceptions? Well, if they're attending a formal event or visiting another country, they might use the host nation's language as a sign of respect and goodwill. This rule shows just how carefully the royal family walks the line between private individuals and public figures. It's all about maintaining their status, making sure they represent the UK in a respectful and diplomatic way. It's another example of the many traditions and rules that make the British royal family's world so unique. Number 3. Even in times of personal grief, the British royal family adheres to strict traditions and protocols, especially when a close family member passes away. The mourning period that follows is characterized by a series of practices designed to show respect for the deceased while maintaining the royal family's public duties. One of the most notable aspects of this protocol is the requirement for royal family members to wear black or dark-colored clothing. This tradition, common in many cultures, applies not only to public appearances but also to private moments, even when they might be photographed. The royal family's adherence to these mourning customs underscores the gravity of the occasion and reflects their respect for those who have passed. During the official mourning period, public engagements are generally canceled or postponed unless there are compelling reasons to proceed. This gives the family time to grieve and honor their loss privately. But the responsibilities of their public roles are never far from their minds. Even when traveling, members of the royal family are expected to pack appropriate mourning attire. This ensures that they are prepared to return to the United Kingdom quickly if needed, should a family death require their presence. This bereavement protocol reflects the royal family's commitment to tradition, even in the most personal and sorrowful of times. It is a testament to their sense of duty to both their roles and the nation, ensuring that, despite their grief, they continue to fulfill their responsibilities to the public. By doing so, they also serve as a public expression of the nation's collective empathy and support during moments of national loss. The royal family's ability to maintain dignity, grace, and duty in these moments highlights the complex balance they must navigate between personal sorrow and their public roles. Number 2. One fascinating tradition within the British royal family involves the timing of their meals. There's a strict rule that no one should continue eating once the Queen or King has finished their meal. This practice goes beyond simple manners. It's deeply rooted in tradition and reflects the monarch's symbolic role. When the Queen or King finishes eating, it signals to everyone at the table that the meal is over, regardless of whether others have finished or not. This tradition has been passed down for generations and is a mark of respect toward the monarch. It helps maintain the formality and structure expected during royal gatherings, aligning with the strict decorum that comes with such occasions. Interestingly, this rule extends to anyone dining with the monarch, not just the royal family. While it might seem like a strict protocol, it has deeper meaning and ensures that meals are treated with the level of respect they deserve. It's worth noting that Queen Elizabeth, for instance, was known to be a considerate hostess. She would take her time at meals, ensuring her guests had the opportunity to enjoy their food. Even something as simple as eating becomes infused with protocol in the royal world, reflecting the formality of royal life. The monarch's role as a symbol of unity and continuity is reinforced through these practices, helping maintain the dignity and decorum of the British royal family. Number 1. One of the more unusual royal rules is the tradition that no member of the royal family can go to bed before the queen or king. It might sound old-fashioned, but this rule reflects deep respect for the monarchy and the strict hierarchy within the royal household. At its core, this tradition highlights the royal family's commitment to a disciplined lifestyle, even in their private lives. It goes beyond just being a guideline. It's part of centuries-old royal protocol. From a practical perspective, this rule ensures the monarch's schedule is followed to the letter. The queen or king's needs must always come first because their role involves countless responsibilities, many of which happen behind the scenes and extend far beyond ceremonial duties. This rule also shows deference to the reigning monarch. It reinforces the idea that the queen or king is at the top of the royal family's hierarchy, with every family member, no matter how senior or junior, acknowledging their duty to the crown. There are historical reasons behind this too. In earlier times, the royal family's bedtime was often tied into the state of affairs in the country, as the monarch needed to be available at all hours for emergencies or important decisions. While modern communication has lessened this need, the tradition still stands as a symbol of continuity. Over time, this rule has become more relaxed, particularly in the private residences of individual royals. However, it still holds a lot of significance during formal events and gatherings, where it's seen as a mark of respect and adherence to royal protocol.